And for your principal guests. Please be seated. And welcome to the stage, Alderman Alison Gowman, representing the Right Honourable the Lord Mayor.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and especially Chair, Director General, Lord Green, and the many distinguished guests. Can I give you a very, very warm welcome here to the Mansion House in the heart of the City of London. A very warm welcome to all you graduates and to your families and your friends and supporters, and of course the board of the Institute and your special guests. As you heard, I'm Alderman Alison Gowman, and I'm here to represent the Lord Mayor, who sadly cannot be here today. He has just taken office only 10 days ago, and his schedule is as busy as if he were well into his year. But on behalf of the Lord Mayor and the City of London Corporation, can I offer you all our hearty congratulations and well done to you graduates on your entry and your continuation in your chosen profession. I'm sure you have all been working so hard over recent months and years, and finally it's paid off. You're here. It's a very, very special day. And now you are equipped with skills and expertise and qualifications to enhance your career in international trade. Now, of course, international trade is at the heart of what we do here in the City of London. We're committed to promoting London and the city, indeed the whole of the UK, as a global business centre, and never has it been more needed than it is now. In fact, overseas engagement is a very key part of the role of the Lord Mayor, who travels to probably 30 countries during his year and spends over a third of his time almost out of the city promoting trade. The Lord Mayor is the global ambassador for UK and professional services. Now, I have just finished a role as Sheriff of the City of London, and that's really is a role working very closely with the Lord Mayor. And so I was also privileged to be able to take part in some of those overseas visits, which last year, to be honest, there were a couple that were virtual. But I did go to the States and Canada, and it was so important that we could go and promote the city's Global Investment Futures campaign about promoting the investment market here in London. So, of course, it's no better or more appropriate place for you as graduates of the Institute of Export to come here to the Mansion House. This building is the hive and centre of commercial and diplomatic activity. The Lord Mayor hosts so many visitors every year, ambassadors, business people, politicians, and just folks and friends involved in the global business world as well as the world here in the UK. And of course it was your predecessors, effectively, the exporters and the importers, who commissioned this very beautiful building that was opened in 1753. It was the traders and the merchants of the City of London who literally paid for these walls, for this building in which we sit today. And most of that did come from the maritime industry, which was such a strong part of the growth of the city, perhaps the UK's original exporters. But the whole of our history as a trading nation is bound up with the City of London and with this building and the role of the City and the Lord Mayor. The ships that sailed to and fro from London contributed to the growth, but then grew those other services, some of which you may be involved in: insurance, banking, foreign exchange, and my own world as in legal services, where I'm a solicitor. And they're all still very thriving here today. So you are just the recent line of global traders, but you are definitely the future. We can't complacently look back. The city is forever looking forward, looking for innovation, looking for new young people and good ideas. And that's why the City and the Lord Mayor are so delighted to welcome the Institute of Export and International Trade back here. We can applaud your work. We know you are achieving the highest professional standards in exporting and trade, but you're also forging those innovative and useful partnerships to create the future for this nation and for all of the countries represented here today. So once again, let me say on behalf of the Lord Mayor, well done and many congratulations. I will be clapping for all of you as we go along. And thank you to your Director General and your distinguished board of leaders. I wish you every success to the graduates in your future careers, and also to adding to this story of the City of London and the UK. And now I'm going to ask you all to welcome to the stage your excellent Director General, Marco Forgione. And thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. And we are slightly changing and amending the running order this afternoon. Don't worry, you'll hear plenty from me later, but I would like now to actually invite to the stage our fabulous President of the Institute of Export and International Trade, Lord Green of Hurstpierpoint.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Alderman Gowman, for those wonderful words of welcome. It's a great privilege to be here. I have the great honour of being the president, the honorary president of the Institute, which means that I get all the fun of attending occasions like this, and the board and Marco and his team do all the real work. I should perhaps explain that I'm in this gear because I do have to shoot straight off almost after this, and I'm afraid it's me that's caused the change in the programme arrangements a bit, because I have to go off to a dinner with the King of Spain. So there. But I didn't want to miss the opportunity of saying a warm, enthusiastic thank you to all of you who've devoted a lot of time in recent months and years to making sure that you are the professionals of export par excellence, because this country needs trade and the world needs trade. Alderman Gowman has already explained how the City of London has a long history of involvement in international trade, and of course its financial services were built up essentially off the back of the financing of international trade. In my case, my career, for much of it, was with a certain bank, HSBC, whose foundation was the support of international trade. Back in the 1860s, when it was the Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation, and it opened its first branches in Hong Kong and Shanghai, these were to finance international trade. I subsequently had a spell in the government where I met one of our distinguished board members and several of the team, one way and another. John Alty, who is now a board member, was a colleague at the Department of International Trade. It was then called something different when I was doing it, because this is a few years back. But there too, I had the opportunity of a lot of travel around the world to see British businesses doing trade, opening up markets, exploring new opportunities in the most, sometimes in the most difficult and challenging of circumstances, but never put off. And I also spent a fair amount of time going around this country, meeting with businesses who were either already engaged in trade or beginning to look at the opportunities and sought to encourage them. And there were some wonderful, wonderful success stories. I could write the proverbial book of stories of companies that started from nothing, well, not from nothing, but from somebody's initiative and ideas and energy and determination and courage often, and built up businesses that are extraordinarily successful. Not only the great names of British industry, the big listed companies, but so often smaller, middle-sized companies employing maybe even just 20 people, maybe 100 people, with a turnover of $1 million or 2 or 3, but looking at international opportunities and growing like Topsy. These are, as Alderman Gowan put it, the future. This is the way in which this country is going to rise to the challenges. We know that we have very considerable challenges right now. The markets have recently reminded us that the world doesn't owe us a living. And one of the ways that we need to respond to that challenge is by trading. We don't have a strong net trade position. We have found our position in the EU, for all the reasons you're well aware of, becoming more challenging. We have to take the situation as it is and trade our way forwards. The good news is that this is a sort of virtuous circle, as we get into it. Because what we find, and there's enormous evidence of this, that companies that get into the international markets and trade effectively grow faster than those that don't, they create more jobs than those that don't, they last longer than those that don't, and they're more profitable than those that don't. So trade is not only about repairing the balance sheet of the country, and boy do we need to do that, it's also about strengthening the backbone of the whole of British industry. Now, of course, trade is not only in goods, the traditional export of things, it is also services, the financial and professional services represented here in London, but also all around the country, small businesses taking the world on in services via digital platforms. There are so many different ways of doing this that I don't think, when people wonder whether there ought to be 2 or 3 sectors that government and the public domain in general should concentrate on, I don't think it is the case that there are just a few sectors. I think that any sector of this economy, more or less, is capable of doing more in the international domain than is currently the case. And therefore, I used to say when I was Trade Minister that there wasn't a single part of the country or a single sector of activity where trade wasn't relevant to the health of the economy and to our growth prospects and to our holding our head in a more difficult world. This is a challenging world. Exporting isn't straightforward or risk-free, hence the need for learning how to do it well, and hence the role of the Institute of Exports and International Trade. This is about helping people who work in business to do it well because the country needs it. And I would add that I'm really excited by the way in which the Institute is taking its services overseas. The Institute itself is becoming an example of an exporting industry. We are developing business contacts, services in places as different as East Africa and Central Asia, and I have no doubt whatever that there is more and more to come. So I am intrigued by the fact that the Institute of Exports is not only the perfect opportunity for you as graduates to learn how to do trade well, it's also itself an exemplar of tackling the world's international markets. So I'm really excited to be here. I'm unfortunately, as I mentioned, going to go off. I have to go off more or less immediately to be wined and dined together with a few other people. I don't want to leave the wrong impression. This is probably several hundred other people, but with the King of Spain. Maybe that's an opportunity to promote some economic links with Spain. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to seeing the effects of all your work in the health of British industry in the years to come. Thank you.
Brilliant. Stephen, thank you. Stephen, what a passionate advocate, a tremendous evangelist for international trade, Stephen is, and a great friend and colleague to the Institute and to myself. Alderman Gowman, thank you so much to you and the Lord Mayor for allowing us to host graduation here at Mansion House. Mansion House itself, an incredible symbol of international trade and the importance of international trade. Stephen gave an eloquent explanation, not just of the value of international trade, the role that the Institute plays, but also the imperative that sits behind international trade. We are here, of course, to celebrate, to recognize, and to reward our incredible graduates. And I'm delighted to say that this year is the largest graduation that we have ever had, with more students from more nations being recognized and rewarded. And those who can't join us today will receive their certificates in the coming days. I am sure, though, that you graduates who've done so much, worked so hard, dedicated so many hours to study, will, like me, agree that success is never a solitary endeavor, that the only way that you have been able to achieve the incredible success that you have achieved is because of the support and the encouragement of family, of friends, and of work colleagues. And I think we should just show our appreciation to that support network that have made your success so possible. So thank you. Now, the Institute of Export and International Trade was founded in 1935, and we were established by our founders as a charity absolutely focused on the professionalization of international trade to help grow professional, healthy trade between nations. That mission runs as bright today within the DNA of the Institute as it did then. There is a clear golden thread of continuity, of charitable appreciation that links us today in this room to the founders of the Institute back in 1935. And I'm particularly proud that the Institute this year has been able to establish an IOE foundation to further present our commitment to our charitable objectives and to help invest to support future generations of both graduates, but the international trade professionals that we will all be relying on. And that charity, that foundation, and there's a leaflet on your chairs giving some information, that foundation was only possible because, and those people who know him will know, the bloody-minded commitment, dedication, and hard work of one of our board members, of our vice chair, of Marcel Landau. And I think we should, Marcel, stand up. I think we should show our appreciation to that. He's tough, dedicated, committed, but absolutely passionate about the Institute, and I thank him for everything that he has achieved and his support that he has showed me particularly over the past 3 years. Now, I was having a chat with a couple of our graduates earlier before this session started, and I was reminded of my heritage because they said they thought maybe it was nominative determinism that someone called Marco was leading the Institute of Export at this time when we are looking to establish new trade routes and networks for the nation. Now, I have to confess, I think the only similarity between me and Marco Polo is that neither of us was born in Italy. But it got me thinking, actually, what is international trade about? And, Stephen, Lord Green, mentioned the commercial imperative and building businesses that are more resilient, more sustainable, more profitable, and employ more people. He mentioned about the fact that we share views and opinions and grow businesses, but I think there's more to it than that. I think actually, if you reflect, as I was caused to, on Marco Polo back at the beginning of the Renaissance, that spark of international trade ignited the changes that we benefit from today. Double entry bookkeeping, the passion of all of us, I'm sure, came about as a result of international trade. The modern banking system was created to support international trade as a result of the work that Marco Polo was undertaking in building those Silk Route trade routes. The venture capitalists grew up because people actually got fed up with risking their own lives and wanted to pay someone else to run the risk of traveling the Silk Road. The entire system that we now rely on, from which we benefit, which has brought so many of us here today, is based on the fact, at its core, on the benefits of international trade. And international trade is a unique system for the transfer of knowledge. It has an incredible power, not just to generate commercial benefit, but to transform lives, to transform communities, and to transform nations. And there's a famous Renaissance painting, Les Ambassadeurs. I apologize to anyone who speaks French for my murdering of the French language. But this painting by Holbein is an homage in the Renaissance to the importance of international trade. The symbolism throughout indicates that international trade was the engine, but what was created and delivered was so much more, from the arts to social interaction, that sharing of knowledge and expertise, the building and move to logic and the scientific concept. And as we're sat here today, that sense of the scientific concept and the importance of international trade is writ large. You may have picked up that earlier today, Artemis arrived at the moon. The progress that was created by international trade back in the 13th century is now preparing us for a world where we will have habitation on the moon and are shooting for further human exploration into space, the potential for habitation on Mars. And sure as eggs is eggs, what will flow from that will be trade between the Earth and Mars. I'm just delighted. I'm not going to be responsible for the Incoterms. You are a generation who, through your commitment and dedication to international trade, to professionalizing international trade, will lead not just with the challenges we face today, but the challenges of the future. I am honored and humbled to be here as Director General of the Institute of Export and International Trade, congratulating you, awarding you on what you have achieved to date, and in joining with you as we look not just to what today or tomorrow holds, but the future that you will be creating as international trade is transformed and develops. I'm particularly proud that today we have with us representatives of the International Trade Centre, a key partner for us with whom we collaborate on our international work, particularly in Africa. And I'm delighted that the Executive Director of the ITC, the International Trade Centres, Pamela Coke-Hamilton, has prepared a short video to congratulate you and to set a little bit of context to the partnership we enjoy with the ITC.
Ladies and gentlemen, Director General Marco Forgione, Professor Sangeeta Khorana, Chair of the Academic Board, and Kevin Shakespeare, Director of Strategic Projects and International Development, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak at this very important event. Today marks an important milestone, both in terms of our organization's partnership and on a more personal level for the graduates present here today, who have shown skill, dedication, and perseverance. I'm thrilled at the prospect of imagining the great contributions you will make to positive international trade around the world. Let me thus begin by wishing a hearty congratulations to all of you. You well deserve it. The training you have all undergone is crucial because fundamental export skills form the basic building blocks of a country's ability to trade. Unfortunately, in many developing and least developed countries where we at ITC work, trade-related training has long been in very short supply, and most young people do not have access to the same opportunities as all of you. Through ITC's partnership with the Institute of Export and International Trade, though, we're changing all of this. Today, we have over 100 students enrolled in the Level 4 Diploma in International Trade across Ghana, Nigeria, and Kenya, with more countries joining in the near future. With this in mind, I'd like to thank Ms. Evelyn Obidike from our partners at the Nigerian Export Promotion Council for her instrumental efforts in helping us and ID&E set up the diploma in Nigeria. I'd also like to express my particular congratulations to Mr. Kwaku Owusu, our top graduating student from the first cohort to complete the full Level 4 diploma in Ghana, and who has kindly made the journey to London today. You're both pioneers in helping us develop the skills of export professionals across Africa. As we move forward and continue to build on the success of the past few years, ITC is committed to continue working with IDE&IT to expand our training offering. In fact, I'm happy to announce that we will soon be launching the Level 3 Diploma in International Trade across the African continent, helping young people open the doors of the new export opportunities that are appearing before them, including through the ongoing implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Thank you once again to IDE&IT for this extremely fruitful partnership these last few years. Together, we have successfully overcome the unprecedented disruptions of COVID-19 pandemic to arrive here, and it is my conviction that we can overcome whatever disruptions present themselves before us again today. To all the graduates, I hope that you have a wonderful ceremony, and once again, congratulations. Thank you very much.
And I really value the partnership with ITC, the work that we're doing in those developing and lesser developed nations, and I'm very pleased to welcome, as Pamela mentioned, the top performing students from Nigeria and Ghana to be with us here today. There were 3 announcements last week that I think go to the very heart of the mission, the endeavour that we all share. The first was in the autumn statement that the UK is now in recession. The second from Dr. Ngozi, the Director General at the WTO, that world trade will be suppressed at least for the next couple of years. And the third is that I think on Wednesday last week, we achieved the milestone of 8 billion humans on the planet. If we are going to tackle deprivation, if we are going to tackle exclusion, if we are going to spread the benefit of economic success and development, if we are going to be sustainable and save the earth, it will only happen, it can only happen, through the channel of international trade. And that is the mission I set to you, the graduates, as you look to shape your careers and continue your professional development. I want quickly just to return to the picture by Holbein before I introduce Jenny, because I think it's important. You may have noticed this, what looks like a smudge, and it is an anamorphic skull. So if you look from the bottom left or the top right of the painting, it is a human skull, but you see it just as a smudge. It's a great, brilliant painting technique, and Holbein, I think, was in part showing off. And it's seen as a memento mori. It is a reminder. And some people get rather disturbed and think that it's a negative thing, seeing a human skull. I think it's a great encouragement, because what it means to me is don't wait. Seize the opportunity. Be better tomorrow than you are today. Look to progress. Look to create a career. Look to seize opportunity. Don't wait, because there is a finality to everything. You have shown a great deal of commitment in seizing the day, investing in yourselves and growing. And I'm delighted to welcome to the stage now Jenny Butler, who is the liner director at Corey Brothers. And in preparing for today, I had the pleasure of spending the weekend just doing a bit of research. And I can honestly say I have never read or seen a life story that is more positive in overcoming challenge, more positive in having a clear view that tomorrow can and will be better than it was yesterday. So please welcome to the stage Jenny for a conversation. Thank you, Jenny. Jenny, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to come and have a conversation with me. And I hope you don't mind me giving you the potential or the opportunity, the encouragement to explain to our graduates how quite your journey from Sacramento to central London has developed.
It's been an interesting ride. I can't say that it's been easy. So I grew up in the Valley of California, so I spent some time in Sacramento, some time in Bakersfield, and a great majority of my teenage years were spent so far below the poverty line you couldn't even see it. It was like a wish off in the distance. I met my husband, who had just started on a BA in politics when I was about 17, I think, and I came over here for 3 weeks to see him. We fell madly in love. This was, he came to see me. It was all wonderful. And I actually married the man 7 weeks after I met him face to face. So do not come to me for romantic advice, please. However, we're coming up to our 20-year wedding anniversary very shortly. So he is my best friend, and it's been a wonderful experience to grow and to learn about the UK. I have come to England with a lot of emotional baggage. I imagine quite a few people in this room have experienced a lot of the same things, wherever you're from, whatever your background is. But I think the desire to survive, to succeed, to keep striving for excellence is something that's kept me going through some very dark times in my life. And I find that where I am now is as a result of not being willing to chuck in the towel, to keep trying, to keep going. So.
Brilliant. Jenny, it really is the most inspirational story, and it's a real narrative. But turning now to your professional career and becoming, as you are now, the liner director at one of the key, most influential logistics international trade organizations. Just explain a little bit about how you professionally developed and the route. Caveat this, Jenny is a former top-performing student graduate, so you could be here soon.
So when I was in America and when I first moved to England, I job hopped a lot. I was young, I didn't know what I wanted, things didn't quite fit. I did a lot of retail jobs. I've been a firefighter. I have delivered car parts. I have, in actual fact, in order to get my visa to come into the UK, I had to have a guarantee of an interview, and I got an interview scrubbing toilets at the Ipswich Hospital, so I have definitely done that as well. What I found was that none of those industries were fulfilling. I needed something to make sense. I needed something that I felt was valuable, that was fulfilling. And initially, I was looking for something that was more office-based, that I could build from, something that just computed. I'm very analytical and very logical. And when I was successful in getting a job in shipping, it just clicked. My employer at the time, when I first came in, was very strong on academic qualifications, so I went through multiple NVQs, I went through any number of courses you could possibly get your hand on, and it was just like Lego. It clicked, it worked, it made sense. I wanted to make more of it, I wanted to learn everything I could about it. And international trade is such a vast network. I mean, you could go off on a side road and have 17 different branches of our industry, of our trade, of working internationally, and you'll never explore all of it. So from then, I worked to acquire knowledge, and Kevin's actually been quite fundamental to my success in the academic side of things, because it was through his relationship with one of my NVQ providers when I was younger that introduced me to the foundation degree. My current employer was also my employer at the time when I started on the foundation degree, and I was part of the very first cohort. So like many of you here in the room today, I worked a full-time job, I had a family, my studying was done around eating, sleeping, working, all the rest of that, and there were plenty of times where I was just like, oh, this is just too much, this is insane, I don't know if I can carry this on. But you get up the next morning and keep trying. So I was lucky to achieve my foundation degree and was able to take it further into my BA in business management, and around about that time I received an offer to go and work for a global shipping line, and I specialized in a very niche area of the industry. And I absolutely thrived on that, and I loved it. But after 5 years, Corey Brothers, our group CEO, Peter Wilson, came back to me and asked me if I would be interested in leading the next generation of the divisions that I'm currently responsible for. And I thought about it long and hard, and I thought that I wanted to be in a position where I could help others. I want to help people find their goals, to look for ways to improve themselves in how they conduct, in academia, in everything you can possibly imagine. I want to be part of that. And so I decided to take that opportunity, and 18 months later, I'm here.
Brilliant. Thank you. And over that period of time, how do you see the world of international trade has changed and is changing?
It becomes... There's two ways to think this. There is one in that there is always going to be international trade and complexities that arise around it. And it could be simplistic changing, I say simplistic very facetiously, of Incoterms. But you've also got the increased complexities of the nations that we're dealing with, their trade, their economic situation, the impact that finances have to do with them. And it's something that you have to keep on top of and be aware of in all that you do. And the fundamental consequences of making a poor or uninformed decision, or one where you haven't possibly considered the consequences, is one that I find becomes more complex each year, which is why a good understanding of what we're doing, why we're doing it, why we're initiating trade, why we want to better ourselves in this, in the whole forum that is international trade, I think is crucial to our development as a nation and as a world, really, because we are international.
Brilliant. And looking out, we've got the class of 21-22. What one piece of advice would you give to these graduates?
Apply everything you've learned a little bit at a time. Don't try to make too many changes at once. Just take that knowledge, and I think when you're applying it in a practical sense, you'll see something that makes sense that didn't when you first started your education. To keep paying attention to those little things that click will naturally support you, I think, as you move forward in whatever field you choose to. And I think it's important to remember not to try and take on everything at once. Just apply those little bits you've learned every day that you face.
Brilliant. Jenny, thank you for that fantastic insight, and what a great advocate you are for professionalising and international trade. Please show appreciation. Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. Folks, it is now my great pleasure to introduce to the stage the chairman of the Institute of Export and International Trade, Terry Schooler, CBE. Terry is an incredible, passionate leader in international trade, having been one of the most senior manufacturing leaders in the UK. He then went on to lead one of the best membership, to lead the Manufacturers Association, and then moved to the leading institute to be chairman and help guide us forward. Please welcome to the stage Terry Schooler.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. It's always a great pity that I have to follow Marco Forgione, and I better stand. Always a great pity I have to follow Marco in giving some short speech to you. But that is the life of a chairman. And Marco, many, many thanks indeed. Thank you, Alderman Gowman, and indeed many thanks to our President, Lord Stephen Green, who apparently has a more important engagement this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I am often asked, as you've probably heard this evening, about international trade. And there are hundreds, if not thousands, of statistics which one can reference when one talks about international trade. I'm only going to refer to one this evening now, as so many of them have been covered by our eloquent speakers. And that is that over the last 25 years, the WTO has determined that international trade has helped take over 1 billion people in our planet or on our planet out of abject poverty. And that surely more than any other statistic tells us so much about the force for good that is international trade. I think just before we start the formal ceremony, let me just refer to a few moments to you and what you've done. And many, many congratulations to you earning your place in this magnificent venue this evening. Academia, education, training, skills, and upskilling through one's career are so important. You'll have heard, you'll have read that at the moment our great nation faces some certain challenges. Our productivity is not what it should be. In fact, it's decreased over the last 6-12 months. We are in danger. I do not accept that we are going into recession, but I acknowledge that we are in danger of going into recession. Interest rates are high, and indeed, there are a number of challenges. Let me say to you this evening that academia, education, skills, training, and the process of upskilling is so important to our nation's economy and our nation's industrial success and progress. It is critical to turning around our relatively weak productivity performance. And that training, skills, uptraining, education as we call it in general, it's all about those in this room who wish to start a new career in, of course, international trade. But bless you, it is not just all about the young men and women starting a career in international trade. It's about those, perhaps in the middle stages of the career, who wish to extend their knowledge, upskill, and develop further opportunities for career advancement. And bless them, it's not just about them either. It's about those perhaps approaching the end of their career, men and women who wish to extend their working life by taking further qualifications, extending that skill base, that knowledge base, and extending the career. And by the way, maintaining that workforce and bringing potentially retired people back into our workforce is absolutely critical at the moment. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you do is critically important. I welcome you, I thank you, and I think without more ado, I hand back to our Director General and let the evening's awards begin.
You want me to start here? Yeah, you're going to be presenting the awards now. There we go. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Terry. Terry genuinely has been central to the transformation which has taken place within the Institute as we begin now to deliver on the promise that was established back in 1935. We are going to just hear momentarily from some of last year's graduates before we begin the awards.
Right, so I'm an IT consultant, and my current role is with HMRC, and obviously it's within Customs Declaration Service. And there's day-to-day engagement with the business, and I needed something that would enable me to have the confidence and also to understand HMRC's language, so to speak. So obviously, if I'm having any engagements with them, I'll be able to understand, what HMRC obviously is talking about, and also enable me to do my day-to-day role. I had been reading, obviously, work documents that enabled me to, have some base knowledge. But what I found with the customs courses is a lot more structured, and it goes through some of the fundamentals and also some of the reasons behind, customs in general. So I realized that enabled me to, sometimes it can be a little bit more abstract, when you're reading documents. And the course, broke things down to a fundamental level that enabled me to have better understanding and knowledge to be able to do my job correctly. I think all the topics. The one topic where I sort of lacked knowledge on was commodity classification. So that was the topic that obviously I dwelled on most, and it's one that again has enabled me to be able to execute my job correctly. So I deal with a lot of trader queries with regards to CDS, and being able to identify, for instance, things like documents that goes with those commodities. Obviously you have to have the correct classification. So that's one area that I think I gained a lot of knowledge from.
You celebration, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's very nice. Obviously, it's now official, that I'm being graduated, and I look forward to obviously networking with some of the few graduates here as well to obviously get to find out what everybody does. And it's a nice environment, and definitely I would recommend it to a lot of people to undertake the course.
Now you can read.
Right, so obviously I'm already within the custom sector, like I said, through being on CDS. Obviously it has opened up another avenue, which is obviously the custom intermediary section, and obviously with Brexit, we know that there is a demand for custom intermediaries. So I'll just take my time obviously to explore some of the different opportunities that it presents. Who knows, I may end up being a custom intermediary. It's enabled me to do my job very, very well. My colleagues tell me that, so it must be true, which has been very fantastic.
Brilliant, thank you. So there's some gentle choreography. So students, if you come up across here when I call your name, head over to Terry to receive your award, have the photos taken, then exit to the stage right. And folks, I know we want to enthusiastically clap everyone, but I suggest we hold off until the end of the award suite for that group of awards to then hoop, holler, and celebrate as one for all of the students. Part of the reason being that I don't want a health and safety claim for RSI from clapping because there's quite a lot of awards being presented this evening. So, to start the evening for the Award in Finance of International Trade, please, Christian Binning, MEIX from Barclays Bank, UK, please. And the next presentation is for the Award in International Trade Practice, and that goes to John Brooke from the Department of International Trade. And the next award is for the Award in Trade Finance, which goes to Michael Jolly Patariana Disanayakaji. And I apologize for getting that horribly wrong.
Well done.
And next for the Award in Trade Finance is Matilda Murphy from the Department for International Trade, who is also collecting the IOE&IT 2021-22 Award in International Trade Practice. Matilda. Also receiving the award is Vivish George from the Department for International Trade, who is also collecting the IOE&IT 2021-22 award in International Trade Practice. Also receiving the award is Gary Shields from the Department of International Trade, and Gary is also collecting the IOE&IT 21-22 award in International Trade Practice. Gary. Okay, so we now move to the IOE&IT Level 3 Award in International Transport and Documentation, and that goes to Moin Patel from HMRC. I'd now like to invite Elaine Flynn to join Terry on the stage to present the awards on behalf of South East Regional College for the Northern Ireland graduates in the Level 3 AITD. Thank you. And the award goes to Samuel Mucklehatton from Wee Bottle. The next award is to Christine Rainey from WD Meats. Elaine, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Thank you. We value our partnership. Thank you. So the next awards are for the Level 3 Certificate in International Trade. And the first award goes to Sarah Cutts from Exporter Services. And the next award winner is Paige Aitchison from Boehringer Ingelheim. And the next award goes to Zanetta Osika from Park Air Systems. And the next award goes to Janet Edwards from the Department for International Trade. And folks, I think it's about time we gave a round of applause to all those graduates. The next set of awards is for the Level 3 Customs Practitioner Award, and the first goes to Francesca Alikarami. And the next award winner is Janice Gregory Waters from Greenlight Customs. And the next one is Natalie Cadman, MIEX HGS. Just to test my technical abilities and the layout, next is Janice Gregory Waters from Greenlight Customs. The next award goes to Samuel Southcott from Condor Ferries. And next is Daniel Long, also from Condor Ferries. Elaine, would you mind joining us back on the stage again? Thank you. As we present the award to Sylvia Niemoana Baginska from Mercon as part of Northwest Regional College. The next award is the Level 4 Customs Practitioner Award, and the first winner is Marcus Lin from Pinnacle Growth Group. No, Marcus, there we go. Anya Padula from Hellerman Titan. Next up is Samuel Pusey from Deloitte. Next is James McChesney, also from Deloitte. Elaine, oh, sorry, yeah. The next winner is Tracy Dove from Dovetail Polymers. Elaine, thank you very much. Brilliant. And let's have a round of applause, folks. Thank you, thank you. The next award is the Level 4 Diploma in International Trade. And the first recipient is Layla Bolden from the Department for International Trade. And the next award goes to Alison Tomlinson of Staffordshire Chambers of Commerce and Industry. The next award goes to Rebecca Forty from the Department for International Trade. And the next award goes to Christopher Ball from Babcock Integrated Technology. And the next award goes to Epifania Shongedza. And the next award goes to Sylvia Thompson from Albright International. next award goes to Mohammed Hamouda from MED Export. And the next award goes to Yasmin Chesterton from TPS Logistics. And the next award goes to James Snowden from the Department for International Trade. The next award goes to Irina Shmakova from Chamberlink Limited. The next award goes to Tom Challoner from Agravista UK. And the next award is for Mark Payne from Ion Science. The next award goes to Ella Chippendale from Chamberlink. And the next award is for Laura Morrison from the Department for International Trade. The next award is for Juliet O'Dean from the St Helena government. The next award is for Anna Kerr from the Department for International Trade. And folks, I think we should give another round of applause there. Thank you. The next awards are the Level 5 Diploma in International Trade, and the first recipient is David Pena from Scout Store. And the next recipient is Yuvraj Daipal from Tinius Olsen. And the next recipient is Adriana Santos from the Tracklement Company. And the next recipient is Mark Bolt from Sidon. And the next award goes to Tara Seabrook from Lockheed Martin. The next set of awards is for the Level 5 Diploma in World Customs Compliance and Regulations. And the first award goes to Vernon Rato from Vernon Rato Limited. And the next award is to Poi Seen Chin from Anglo American. And the next recipient is Manjit Teti from Kinetic. The next award goes to Anna Doherty of Hunter Douglas Retail. next award goes to Maria Wilkes from Boeing Defence, UK. The next award goes to Malgorzata Gottfried. Recipient is James Beattie from CJ Clark International. And the next recipient, dear friend of the Institute, Hamish Mackay, from the Institute of Export and International Trade. Now, please may I invite Dr. Claire Gray to come and help present on behalf of the University of Plymouth for the foundation degree graduates. And so the next set of awards is for the foundation degree in international trade. And the first recipient is Philip Blacklock from the Department for International Trade. The next recipient is Lisette Menzies from Montserrat Customs and Revenue Service. Congratulations, Dr. Gray, thank you. And Terry, what would have seemed like an Augean task, congratulations, you're done. I appreciate it. Thank you for all your help and the award. Please, everyone, show your appreciation. Thank you. It is now my huge pleasure to welcome to the stage Professor Sangeeta Khurana, who is not only a trustee director of the Institute, not only a leading professor of international trade and the economics of international trade, but someone who is a great ally, compatriot, advisor, guide and mentor. Please, Sangeeta.
afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Marco, for the kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome you all here today. Thank you so much for making it. It's really bad weather, but thank you. I'm actually very delighted to be able to award you with the graduating certificates this afternoon. And I would like to join Honorable Chairman, Director General, and my colleagues in welcoming you and wishing you all success with your careers. I would like to place on record a special thanks to the faculty and the teaching team that has been working really hard behind the scenes and supporting you in supporting you and equipping you with the knowledge which will actually enable you to make a positive and a massive impact on the scene of international trade. So thank you, the teaching team. The quality of candidates this year has been truly exceptional, and you should be proud that you are part of the cohort of international trade experts who have really excelled themselves. So you should all leave with your heads held high and feeling truly accomplished and proud of yourselves for what you have achieved during your time at the Institute. Thank you for putting in all the hard work, because without your hard work, it wouldn't have been possible for the teaching team to do what they did. Rightly so, today is the day to celebrate your personal and individual successes. You have definitely earned the right to do that. Please, think about your successes in the context of the greater good, of the role you will play in building and advancing the community of international trade of which you all are part now. I leave you with a very famous quote to just think through this. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. I am really delighted to invite the graduates up to the stage to receive the certificates. Thank you so much.
Just head over here. I will, if you want to stand over.
Okay, it's all right.
Brilliant. Sangeeta, Professor, thank you very much. So the next awards are for the 2021 UKCA Level 3 Certificate in Customs Compliance. And the first award goes to Philip Bedford from Port of Tyne. The next recipient is Gemma Brooke from Bowman Ingredients. And the next recipient is Kim Lee from CXO Logistics. And that was GXO Logistics, by the way. Apologies, my eyesight is terrible. The next award goes to Gabriella Bees from Worcester Bosch Group. And the next award goes to Dumitru Mihalaka. And the next award goes to Joanna Pieronek Kwiatkowska. Markowska of Atom Car Parts. This is terrifying. The next award goes to Lorraine McNamara from Clark Energy. And the next award goes to Lenka Stan from Uberstock. And the next award goes to Sean Richards of Clark Energy. And the next award goes to Morgan Taverner of Express United Freight. And the next award goes to Alexandra Dragonescu from Matty's Fashion. And the next award is William Chisholm from Broader Metals Group. And the next award is to Katie Ivison from Container Components Europe. And the next award goes to Alexandra Tamus. And the next recipient is Martina Malasinska from Deanbrook Customs and Comms. Martina is also collecting, the Level 4 certificate in Customs Compliance. Congratulations. And the next recipient is Audrey Delau from Orange Business Services, who is also collecting the Level 4 certificate in Customs Compliance. And the next award goes to Helene Gaspard from Orange Business Services, who is also collecting a Level 4 certificate in Customs Compliance. And the next recipient is Lindsay Guillaume from Orange Business Services, who is also collecting the Level 4 certificate in Customs Compliance. next is Barry Moore-Hallalon from the Institute of Export and International Trade, who is also collecting a Level 4 certificate in customs compliance. And folks, I think we should show our appreciation and congratulations. We now move to the presentation of the UKCA Level 4 Certificate in Advanced Customs Compliance. And the first recipient is Anna Dutta from Bowman Ingredients. Rebecca Stark from Stark Export Focus. And the next recipient is Alvina Maksood. We now present the UKCA Level 5 Diploma in Advanced Customs Compliance, and the first recipient is Neil Parsons from the DX Group. The next recipient is Diane Whittingham from the Department for International Trade. And the last award in this category goes to Zabogs Baranier from Lockheed Martin, UK. Thank you, and Sangeeta, thank you very much, folks. Let's show our appreciation. Thank you. It is a great honour for me to be the Director General of the Institute of Export and International Trade. We have the most incredible team of knowledgeable experts. We have over 2,500 years of aggregated knowledge and expertise in international trade. And amongst that amazing team, there are people who I look at and I'm genuinely in awe of. And one of those, I'm delighted to say, is here with us today and will be saying a few words in advance of the next set of awards. That is Amy McGill, who is Director of the Institute of Export and International Trade Academy. Please welcome Amy.
Thank you, Marco, for the warm introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, graduates, prize winners and guests of the Institute, I stand here immensely proud as the Academy Director of the UK's largest training and qualifications provider. When I walked into Mansion House earlier today and standing here now, the atmosphere is electric. And I felt the same excitement when I achieved the Level 5 Diploma in World Customs Compliance back in 2018. I, like you, studied while working, holding down a full-time job. I know only too well the commitment, the long hours, the sweat, possibly the occasional tear that may have been shed in the run-up to your graduation this evening. There has never been more demand for the critical knowledge and skills that you've acquired through studying with the Institute. UK businesses are seizing the opportunity to trade internationally. And look no further for proof of that than the Institute's own job board, where there are 5,000 vacancies in international trade. It's the Academy's mission to ensure that students come away able to do their jobs, but feeling confident, knowing that trading internationally is not difficult, it is achievable. Every year, 85% of our students achieve a distinction grade. That wouldn't be possible without the oversight of the academic board, ably led by Professor Sangeeta Khurana and supported by Dr. Sharon Lone, as well as our wonderful tutors and moderators and the dedication of the student support team. Thinking about what we've achieved since the graduation ceremony last year, we've exported our learning further afield, with, in January, relaunching the UK Customs Academy as the Global Customs Academy. It's the world's only online training platform dedicated to customs. It's wonderful to see Elaine Flynn here from South East Regional College. Our partnership with the college has grown over the last year, and we have trained over 200 students since the start of last year, and some of those are graduating tonight. We have delivered 7 modules, and we plan to deliver more next year. And I'm delighted to say we opened our office in Northern Ireland in Bangor. We continually monitor the trends to bring to you the training that you need, and that will continue into next year. The next biggest evolution is the UK government's target operating model, which Kevin could write a book on at this point. We stand ready to provide the training and the skills that you need to deal with those changes. Watch this space. But back to you, we're here to celebrate your success. Your learning journey shouldn't end here with the Institute. Whatever challenges you face, we can help you. Graduates and prize winners here tonight have the talent and have gained the knowledge to succeed. So well done. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Amy. And it is entirely down to the drive, determination and skill of Amy that the Academy has grown so significantly over the last couple of years. And you are testament to what she is building and driving forward. Now, I mentioned we have an amazing team at the Institute, and we really do. And every day I am humbled with spending time with the amazing folk at the Institute. But there are some who are beyond definition. I spoke earlier about the Renaissance and the move to the scientific method and logic and what grew from that. The fact that we send people back to the moon and we look interstellar. We have amongst the Institute's ranks our own Renaissance man, our own Leonardo da Vinci, if you like. Please welcome to the stage, Kevin Shakespeare. Brilliant, thank you. And Kevin will be presenting the awards and helping to present the certificates. And we start with the Level 3 certificate in international trade and the prizes. And the prize for the best overall qualification in the IOE&IT Level 3 certificate in international trade goes to Zanita Osika from Steris Solutions. The next prize is the IOE&IT Level 4 Diploma in International Trade. And the prize for top mark in the module of international marketing goes to Mohammed Hamouda from MED Export. The prize for best overall qualification in the IOE&IT Level 4 Diploma in International Trade goes to Laura Morrison from the Department for International Trade. The next prizes are for the Level 5 Diploma in International Trade. And the prize for the top mark in the module of International Marketing Strategy goes to Philip Blacklock from the Department for International Trade. The next award for the Level 5 Diploma in World Customs Compliance and Regulations, the prize for the top mark in Module 2 World Customs goes to Stuart Coe from HMRC. The prize for top mark in Module 3, World Customs, goes to Katalin Paniel of SC Johnson. The prize for the top mark in Module 4, World Customs, goes to James Beattie from C&J Clark International. The Institute of Export and International Trade, as I've said, was established in 1935. We have an incredible community of alumni and of team members spread around the globe. But we are also a close-knit family. And we had a giant team member who sadly was taken too early from us, Mike Josipenko, who was transformational in the work that he did, not just for international trade, but also for the Institute. and I'm very pleased to say that we have, the Institute has established the Mike Josipenko Award. And in order to help present that, please do welcome to the stage a dear friend of the Institute, Jill Josipenko. And the Mike Josipenko Award is presented for the top mark in the module for international physical distribution. And I'm delighted that the recipient of the 2022 Mike Josipenko Prize goes to Lisette Menzies of the Montserrat Customs and Revenue Service. Thank you, Jill. The next award is a presentation of the Level 5 Diploma in International Trade Prize, the Mike Strawson Prize. And the Mike Strawson Prize is for the top mark in the module Practical Global Trading, and the recipient this year is David Pena from Scout Store. The Institute has a deep and long partnership with the world traders, and it is a great pleasure to me to invite to the stage Master of the World Traders, Michael Shapiro. Say a few words?
I am very fortunate to be here this evening, and I have really enjoyed it, and I am incredibly in awe of all the students. So thank you all very much. We, as a city livery company, the Worshipful Company of World Traders, have had a close association with the Institute for 30-odd years. And we have given a prize each year which is not to be retained by the winner. There is a silver salver, and the only person who gets a framed certificate, and there is also a cheque. So I'm delighted to welcome David Pena, who is the winner this year, and I'll read the certificate. The Worshipful Company of World Traders Prize for Academic Excellence is awarded to David Pena.
We're now going to present the IOE&IT Foundation Degree in International Trade Prize, and I please welcome back to the stage Dr. Claire Gray to help present on behalf of the University of Plymouth for the foundation degree. And the prize for the best overall qualification in the University of Plymouth foundation degree is Philip Blacklock from the Department for International Trade. Claire, thank you very much. Thank you. We're coming towards the end now, and for the penultimate prize is for the Outstanding Achievement and Service prizes. And the prize for Outstanding Achievement goes to Lisette Menzies from Montserrat Customs and Revenue Service. The prize for Outstanding Service goes to Fiona Topping from Scottish Enterprise. Folks, that brings us to the final award today, and that is to the top student of Ghana, and the prize goes to Kwaku Owusu. Folks, please, a round of applause for Kevin. Thank you. And that concludes the 2022 Institute of Export and International Trade graduation ceremony. I have some basic tasks to perform. One is to remind you, please, to return your lanyards before you leave. And those of you who have gowns, please make sure that you return those before you leave. It remains only for me to say thank you. Thank you to this incredible cohort of graduates. To wish you well as you continue your journeys. And as Amy and Sangeeta highlighted, let this be the beginning of all that is possible. We look to the future with excitement and ambition, because it is only through international trade that we are going to affect the change, not just that our nation needs, but that the world demands. Folks, you are building the future. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of our community. And I assure you, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, the Institute will be there with you side by side, promoting, evangelizing, and being the testament for all that international trade can do. Folks, thank you. And as someone who was brought up in catering, I know not to get between people and drink. There are drinks ready to be served. Thank you.